What's up, and welcome back to Gabe Miller Music. Today I'm walking you through the making of some more sample chop beats on the MPC One. One in kind of a vapor trap direction and one in more of kind of a deep house direction. This video is sponsored by Tracklib, which is the place that I got the samples that I'll be chopping. They've got an absolute ton of real songs from a lot of different eras and styles of music to choose from, whether you're making EDM, hip hop, or pretty much anything else that involves using samples and flipping samples. You probably will be able to find something that you're looking for. Typically, I like going for some kind of 90s new agey electronic-y stuff for making vapor trap flips, or some more old school funk and jazz and R&B stuff for lo-fi hip-hop or lo-fi house. And those are the directions I'm going in today. I'll leave links to the tracks that I've sampled in the description, as well as my own link that'll get you some free downloads if you use it to sign up. And from there, if you download some tracks, sample them, and decide that you want to put out those songs, getting an actual license for them can be quite affordable depending on the song and very straightforward. So, all that being said, let's start off with the vapor trap, space trap, whatever you want to call it, beat. This was a really fun one to put together. In this case, I was able to find one of their collections of some kind of ambient / new age type tracks from the 90s, so pretty authentically playing into the vaporwave vibes. So first of all, let's start off with the drums. Quite a bit going on here. Let me break it down and mute these other tracks. A lot of these samples are coming from Ramzoid's, I believe, his latest sample pack at the time that this video comes out. Nice punchy kick. Very short, dry clap. This kind of lo-fi hi-hat in the background. Different hi-hat for the hi-hat rolls using note repeat. And then a couple of percussion elements as well. And this little percussion element, snare, open hi-hat, just a bunch of drums going on all at once. And this is something I kind of built up in stages, starting with the main groove and then building from there. I didn't actually start with this though. I like showing what's going on with the drums first because they're a really good foundation, but I actually started with the sample. And then once I had kind of an idea of what I wanted to do with the sample, then I started building up the drum part and then did the actual recording of playing back those chops after I got the drums going. So for this first section, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot happening to the sample, but there is one thing I want to draw your attention to. So first of all, long uninterrupted sections. This was pitched down 5 semitones, and then I used warp to keep it within its original speed. This is kind of adding a new spin on what this track was doing originally, giving us a new section because this is a fairly like major key happy little ambient tune, and I wanted to give it a bit of a darker tone. And that bit being pitched down like that worked super nicely. And you can even hear a little bit of artifacts from it getting pitched down and then time stretched back into place. That's fine. That kind of works for this style of music. That's not hurting me too much. And then in track mix, I've got a couple of things going on. Basic reverb, a little bit of EQ. I believe I'm just cutting out some lows and overall just making the sample fit better with the drums. And then of course I've ducked it to the kick. Pretty heavily in this case. And of course, the 808. Also Ramzoid sample. No processing on this at all. I've triple checked. Just a really nice sample. Mapped to a keyboard using the key group programs. And I was able to kind of reharmonize what's going on with both sample chops a little bit. So once I had that first section, I had a few more chops just kind of sitting there waiting for me to make a B section with. So let's go to our next sequence. Let me unmute everything. So the drums and the 808 are unchanged from the first section. What changes are the chops. I think I like this section even better, to be honest. And in this case, the 808 part really serves as kind of an anchor for these chops because they don't seem to really go anywhere, but the bass part gives them kind of a defined melodic direction or harmonic direction to go in. So that works quite nicely. And from this point, I've got quite a bit to work with while arranging. And one other thing I wanted to try, I'm trying this out for the first time on camera, which is always dangerous. I wanted to try putting the half-speed effect on my entire master. All right, let's hear how this sounds. That's probably a bit far, but it is kind of fun. If I mess with this a bit. That's actually not bad. Doing a little skipping thing there, which is kind of interesting. But with all that out of the way, let's move on to the second beat. Kind of a deep house type thing, or if you've ever played Lethal League, you might recognize the influence. So this is from the Hype Synth, and it's a modified preset. With a really nice defined attack. Let me see if I have any effects on this as well. Nope, just a ducker. As usual, ducking it to the kick. And while I'm in here, I'll show you the sample processing. Very similar. EQ to clean it up a bit. Reverb to kind of fill in any gaps and give a bit of extra width. And then once again, on top of all that, the ducker to duck it to the kick. And it, once again, pretty intense ducker. Probably a running theme with my production in general at this point. So this is a kind of more jazz funk track, which is fun. And I started off by just chopping everything up at regular intervals. And I left those little walking bass line bits in there so I could kind of use those as little fills or little bass lines in and of themselves. And we've got these really nice little electric piano stabs. And those little hi-hat and ride cymbal bits as well. So together, just by themselves. And you get all these wonderful little bits in between these different pads being triggered, which I think is super fun. And then once you bring in the drums, it all kind of disappears, to be honest, which is a bit of a bummer, but I do think it's a fairly tight groove. More Ramzoid drums. Super, just massive kick. Little distant clap. And in this case, I actually put them into a little kit, which is why these are color-coded the way that they are. And I've also got some nice little effects in here, some of which I've used and kind of buried in the background a bit. And this little percussion sound, which really emphasizes the groove that I'm going for. And I like to think this goes pretty damn well with that bass line. Fairly simple, but a pretty fun little groove. If you'd like to see some more beat making, track walkthrough style videos on the MPC One, you can click or tap up over here, and be sure to check out this video's sponsor, Tracklib. Once again, thank you so much to them. I'll be back with a new video in a little bit, so in the meantime, thank you so much for watching.